You have a vision for a ministry or church, but turning that vision into a legal reality is a difficult process. What if a new church is automatically a 501c3 tax-exempt organization the moment it forms, without ever applying to the IRS? So if it's automatic, why do so many churches still go through the rigorous process of applying for an official IRS letter? Because this special status isn't guaranteed. The IRS has a strict 14-point test to define what actually qualifies as a church. We will now break down the foundational requirements, from federal law to internal governance, to build your organization correctly. First, what's the one number every single faith-based organization needs, even with no employees? It's the Employer Identification Number. With your EIN, the next step is creating your legal skeleton, your Articles of Incorporation. This officially registers your organization with the state. But the document that gives your organization its soul and its armor is your bylaws. Many see bylaws as a formality. This is a critical mistake. Well-drafted bylaws define your governance, membership rules, and conflict resolution. They can shield your religious decisions from legal challenges. This is why using a generic boilerplate template is so dangerous. Your bylaws must reflect your unique theology and leadership to be effective. Alongside bylaws, the IRS often requires a conflict of interest policy to prove your organization is for public benefit, not private gain. So you have the documents, but why does this tax-exempt status even exist? It's based on the idea that your organization provides a public benefit. This leads to the single most vital rule you must follow: the prohibition against private inurement. No net earnings can benefit a private individual. This doesn't mean you can't pay salaries. It means any compensation must be reasonable for services rendered. Violating this rule is disastrous. At the state level, some jurisdictions offer a non-profit religious corporation designation, which can provide greater autonomy in internal governance. Beyond federal status, you have state laws. Fundraising might require registration, and the religious exemption isn't always automatic. We know churches get automatic tax exemption, but what is the single biggest ongoing compliance requirement they are uniquely exempt from? Let's move from legal theory to operational reality. Your organization needs a home, but buying property means facing a maze of local zoning laws. Even when you find the right property, securing a loan is different. Lenders often require a higher down payment for a church, sometimes up to 40%. If your mission involves children, the rules get stricter. Mandatory background checks are standard. Some states even require fingerprint-based checks. And through all of this, you must keep meticulous records. Foundational documents are kept permanently, financial records for at least 7 years. You've handled property, programs, and paperwork. But now let's return to that major legal distinction we mentioned earlier. The biggest compliance difference? Churches are exempt from filing the annual Form 990. This form details the finances of nearly every other nonprofit. For a non-church, faith-based ministry, this filing is mandatory. Fail to file for 3 consecutive years and your tax-exempt status is automatically revoked. This exemption gives churches incredible freedom from government oversight, but it places a greater burden on internal governance to ensure financial integrity. This brings us full circle. All these unique benefits hinge on one thing: qualifying as a church in the eyes of the IRS. Not every ministry will. So, based on these rules, is your vision for a church or for a different kind of faith-based nonprofit? The answer dramatically changes your requirements. Let's connect the dots. Churches have automatic tax status and minimal reporting. That's why protective bylaws are your primary mechanism for accountability. We also saw churches voluntarily apply for an IRS letter. This builds donor confidence by demonstrating strong controls that prevent private inurement. The core insight is this: your legal status fundamentally dictates your governance needs. More autonomy from the government requires more internal discipline. Federal status, state laws, governance documents, and operational policies are not separate boxes to check. They are an interconnected system for your mission. After seeing all these requirements, what is the most common mistake new founders make? They consistently underestimate the legal and financial demands. This means the final and perhaps most vital requirement is not one you can meet alone. Engaging experienced legal and financial professionals is a necessity. We've covered the unique status of churches, the critical role of bylaws, and the unforgiving nature of compliance. Each step is a building block. Understanding these requirements isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to empower you. Build correctly from day one on a foundation of rock, not sand.